Hello, fellow detectives. Welcome to Unlocked, the official podcast for all things Nancy Drew by Her Interactive. I am your host, Tammy Tuckey, and this week we welcome Technical Support Representative Tiana Dollison to the show. Welcome, Tiana.
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
And so first of all, it's so great because for listeners who don't really know the background of a lot of the work that goes behind tech support, this is really great to talk to somebody directly because I'm clueless. I don't know anything about it. But before we jump into that, let's talk about why you kind of got into the information technology support. What kind of drove you to go ahead and pursue a career with that? Because you have a college education through that degree.
Yeah, so I'm actually still in school right now, and I'm still currently studying IT. But I've always been interested in STEM, even since I was a child. The first thing I ever wanted to be was an astronaut, and then like a veterinarian. So I feel like kind of just steered into one direction of STEM. So now here I am in technology.
Well, why STEM? Why STEM? Like, was there something that you did when you were younger that kind of triggered that, or?
I would just say that I think I always really enjoyed my science classes in like grade school. I think I had really great teachers. They made it really fun, very interactive, and it was like quizzical. There's like a single answer, but there's so many steps that you can take to get there. Rather than like math, you solve and you calculate and there's one answer. In science, you ask questions and you perform experiments to get an answer. And I just thought that was so awesome.
Because you had worked originally with Google and Target, also in support. Mm-hmm. So before you kind of came over to Her Interactive, so how did they prepare you for your position at Her Interactive?
So I think of this job as like a perfect marriage of my prior two jobs. So at Google, it was definitely more technical. It wasn't very customer facing whatsoever. I was focusing mostly on software engineering. I was working in internal like developer infrastructure. So I was building tools that other developers at Google would use. So in a way, it definitely was still support. We're like still trying to support developers by building applications that would help them like push better code into like the system. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't customer facing, and there was no aspect of like dealing with customer support or like troubleshooting errors so much. But it was really great experience, and there's like it was like I said, it was mostly technical. Target, it was like the flip side. I was very customer facing. I would say that job taught me a lot of customer service skills, which is very, very important in a technical support role because, like I said, it's like a marriage of the two. So we're dealing with technical problems, but you're still talking to a customer. And so I think Target just taught me how to talk to customers respectfully and like assist them with their problems. While I was also at Target, I worked as a Starbucks barista, and that was fun. If I had to like pick between the two, I really loved Target just because it was like a different adventure every single day because like new customers come in with like a new problem or like they're looking for something different, trying to help them fix something or find something. So it's just like different every single day. And so like I said, it's like a perfect combination of the two working in technical support because I still get to practice and use my technical like expertise and help people at the same time.
When you hear about the job opportunity with Her Interactive, where did you find it? And, what was that process like when they interviewed you in particular?
So a friend actually told me about this job opening, and she thought I would be a good fit for it because it was a game company, and I'm pretty into gaming, and I'm also very into like all things like crime and paranormal and conspiracy theories. And she was like, Nancy Drew. And I was like, oh, Nancy Drew. That sounds so up my alley. Um, but the interview process, it wasn't a technical interview, just because I work with mostly like marketing people. So it wasn't so much technical in nature, so much as how will you be able to provide our customers with support in a friendly, respectful, quick manner, and like really help them solve their problems and get their games running on their computers.
Did you know about Her Interactive before you applied for the job? Like, had you, since you're a gamer, had you ever heard about the games?
I'd actually never heard of Her Interactive. I didn't play my first Nancy Drew game until after I started looking into this position, and the first game I played was Saw, or Shadow at Water's Edge, and it was very fun. I was very impressed. Like I said, I love paranormal and true crime, so I was like, "What's the scariest Nancy Drew game?" And that's the one that came up, and I was like, "Oh, let's try it." And I was very impressed, and so it just it left a really good taste in my mouth, and it made coming to the interview like a lot more exciting for me. I was like, I hope I get this job. I'd like to work here.
How long did it take to know if you got the job?
They actually contacted me within 24 hours, which is very surprising. I was like actually like typing up like a thank you letter to send to my interviewers, and um, the person who I went through, they contacted me like, hey, they said that they want to hire you, da, 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 da. And I was like, wow, that was so quick. I didn't even
Wow.
finish writing my thank you letter.
And you haven't finished graduating college yet. Look at that.
Yeah.
Right into it. So, what are you learning in college right now that you can apply to your job at Her Interactive at the moment?
Oh, so the course I'm taking right now is um it's called software troubleshooting. So I think it fits quite well into what I help here at Her Interactive. It's a two-part course for the A plus examination. So it's like certification that I'll be testing for this coming December. It has a hardware portion and a software portion. And so it's about troubleshooting. And that's literally what I do here. So even like through the class, in my last class period, which was yesterday, um, we're going over these the labs that we do in our class, just for like interactive, like how to navigate the computer as an administrator. And like the whole point of the class is to get out of the mind frame of I'm using this computer as a user to I'm using this computer as an administrator trying to help another user. And so it's really helpful when I come here and I can put that into practice. So the first time I ever took like any type of tech course, they were like, just know that in this field that you will never stop learning. And that is what you signed up for. You will never stop learning because like new technology comes out literally every single day. Like even looking like 5 years ago, the technology that we have out today it's like insane compared to what we had 5 years ago. I think in a lot of college classrooms, especially in like tech fields, that every 5 years they try to change up the curriculum and they look at like industry standards, and so they'll add more classes. They're like, oh, people are getting really into like games on their phones, so let's add a touchscreen development class, things like that.
What are some new ideas that you are trying to come up with to help the Her Interactive company?
We can't go into too much detail, but we are working on some new platforms for games to be played on. We're also looking at ways to make games more interactive. Um, and maybe they'll even come to you one day. And that's all I have to say on that for right now.
Can you talk about a typical day at Her Interactive? Like how do you prepare for the day? Is it a typical 9 to 5 job for you personally?
So I don't think it's a typical 9 to 5 job. Um, it is like a desk job, but that's to be expected. I spend a lot of my day triaging emails and answering calls from people who have technical support questions. So I commute here. It's not a great commute, but it works because I like this job. So I make it. And then I come in around 9 o'clock and I start triaging through emails. And every day we get about, I would say, 40 to 50 emails like every day for in each inbox, which is going to be like customer service and technical support. And I'm in charge of both of those. And so I just go work through triaging them. Some people need help with like in-game problems. Some people are having problems installing their games onto their computers. And so I go through that, try to ask them questions, get a little bit more information from them so I can try to like diagnose what's going on and give them the best answer, best solution that I can to help them get their game working. Yeah, and sometimes we have people call in and ask about like our new games or just try to like strike up a conversation. That's always fun when people are having in-game problems. If they're having a problem as in like they just missed something or like they missed a step or they didn't talk to a character or go back and converse with the character, usually we'll just direct them to the walkthrough or like an online walkthrough. But if their game is glitching, then that's a whole nother problem. So there are a few like known glitches that we have patches online available for. So I usually just try to ask more questions, have them clarify exactly where they're at, what happened, what's the last action that they took, and like what game it is, obviously. And if there's a patch available online, if they've made sure that they've talked to every character, if they have those items in their inventory to continue. And if it is a glitch and we see that it's a glitch and we don't have a patch for it, then we just note it down, document it very well, try to help them out as best we can by manually just like moving them through the game and sending them their game file back and then alert our developers. And then they'll start working on a patch for it.
Wow, so you actually have to receive their game file and then you play through it and you send it back. How do you do that?
To access your game file, it's just like saved where, so you save your game under like a name, like any name that you prefer, and then they send me their file. And there's actually like a cheat system, yes. So I don't have to play through it most of the time. If I'm looking for like a specific problem, I'll be able to enter the cheat system or just like the administrator point of view and like edit the items in their inventory or see who they last talked to and like the flow of their conversation. Like if they miss like some type of trigger that like sets them in like the next part of the game, and go ahead and trigger that and send it back to them.
You haven't played all of the games yet, but are you working towards that goal just to get a sense for what specific games, you know, how they work, what their gameplay is like? Or
yeah, so I've only played through 3 games right now, and those are The Final Scene, Saw, as I said, which is my first one, and Sea of Darkness. But I am working towards playing through all of them. I went on a binging spree, a buying spree, when they were on sale this summer. So I'll be playing through all of those slowly but surely. From just like game perspective, I really like the diversity of like, every storyline, all the characters. I think they're so unique, and I love the environments. Like I said, I played Sea of Darkness, and I thought the graphics in that game were very beautiful. I want to visit Iceland now.
So what is it like working with the crew there at Her Interactive? What are some fun stories? Any fun stories of working with them individually?
Yeah, they're all fantastic. Working with Kalina and Lindsay is great. Kalina is always baking goods, and they are so good. She's great at baking. She brought in these brownies one day. They're like coconut brownies. They're fantastic.
Whoa, I've never had that before. That sounds great.
And yeah, Lindsay's really fun too. She's actually like the person who started like training me here, and it's like getting me used to like working with guests and getting used to like terminology and all of the games and like all the abbreviations for the games. And so that was really awesome. And I love watching their Twitch stream once a month. Be sure to tune in this month for Halloween. It's gonna be fun. And Jared is really awesome too. He was a really fun guy. He loves pulling like pranks and stuff and like sending like witty videos to the group chat, and it's really fun.
And you
Yeah,
got to go to the Grace Hopper conference. Can you please talk
I
about that?
did.
Because a lot of people don't know about the conference. Why don't you tell everybody what it's about?
Yeah, so the Grace Hopper Conference, it's the largest conference in, I believe, the world, and if not, at least North America, of women technologists. And they this year was in Houston. Um, it was an amazing, amazing experience. This year, they gathered like a whole bunch of very distinguished women in their fields, and they speak and give presentations, and it was amazing. Um, my favorite speaker that I got to see live was Jessica Matthews, and she was fantastic. Like she always kills her speeches, but it was fantastic. Basically, she is a psychology major who always loved tinkering with things, and so and she's Nigerian, but she was raised in America. And when she used to visit her family back at home, she said that they used kerosene lamps and like the power would go out. And so she found a way to create power or generate like electricity from a soccer ball and a jump rope. And she turned it into a business. And so I feel like I kind of got off track, but Grace Hopper is it's just a conference celebrating women in technology, like reassuring them that they do belong here, that we do need more women in technology. Um, there's so many companies that come and like support and sponsor this event. Huge companies like Disney, Google, IBM, Intel. If they work in technology, they were probably there, and it was just really amazing, really inspiring. Um, and if you ever have a chance to go, I would 100% recommend it.
And are you going to the next Nancy Drew fan event conference?
I would love to go. So I joined a little bit after the last one, or the one in this past year. So I would love to be able to go this year.
But before we end, I have 5 locked clues, so I need
Okay.
help unlocking them. So the first question for that is the hardest Nancy Drew game you've played thus far.
I would say the hardest one I've played so far. Um, I would say Sea of Darkness, just because there's so many puzzles. There's so many puzzles in that game, but they were fun. Like they were fun puzzles, but
Yes, I totally agree. Okay, how about favorite Nancy Drew game?
my favorite is going to be Shadow at Water's Edge. I like the scenery. I'd love to visit Japan.
Well, who are you going to call? Ned Nickerson, the Hardy Boys, or Bess and George?
I think I would call the Hardy Boys.
And what place from one of Nancy's past cases would you like to visit and see for yourself?
I would have to say, I haven't not played Phantom in Venice yet, but I would love to go to Venice. Yes, I would.
Oh, that would be great to go on the gondola. They let you do that in the game, and I was like, yes, because I've always wanted to do that.
Like, I have not played through it. That's actually the next game that I'll be playing through. Just a heads up. But I would love to visit Venice one day. It's on my bucket list.
And then finally, what character besides Nancy and her friends do you think you would get along with if you met them in person?
So, in the few games that I've played, I would say, do phone characters count?
Yeah, absolutely. Any character besides Hardy Boys, Bess and George, and Ned.
Okay. I would say Alex from Sea of Darkness. She sounded like she's a really fun gal.
I like it. Well, good. There you go. You unlocked all of the clues. And we have one more question for you, my friend. If you could describe your experience thus far working with Her Interactive and being a part of the Nancy Drew universe using one word, what would that be?
Incredible. An adventure.